Welcome back to the Blonde Majority podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Katie.
Katie, how's your week been?
It was very, very busy, but that's a good thing. What about yours?
Mine was also very, very busy, and I'm glad that week is over.
I like your shirt. I just noticed it. What do we have there?
It's a 24 Hours of Le Mans t-shirt from Abercrombie. Wait, what was the brand that did the jeans ad?
American Eagle.
Oh, it's from American Eagle.
I apparently don't know how to do
it. It was a gift from my boyfriend. Thank you. It's very cute. I love wearing it. It's very soft.
It looks like a nice t-shirt.
Yeah. It's like a good
So what is this? I don't even know how to pronounce it. What is it?
24 Hours of Le Mans.
What's that?
It's a endurance race in France, in Le Mans, France. And they just race for 24 hours. It's an endurance race. Yeah. And recently they had the 24 Hours of Daytona, which is in Florida. And that's why there's the Rolex Daytona. It's named after the 24 Hours of Daytona race.
I would probably take that off my wrist if I had to drive for 24 hours.
The watch?
Yes.
Oh, well, you only get it when you win. Like the prize is the Rolex
I think
Daytona.
that would be really annoying, right?
I don't think they wear any
I couldn't imagine
jewelry during the because
I learned something new. I had no idea that there were 24-hour. So it's the same driver, right?
No, they have multiple
a team.
drivers.
Yeah. Okay.
And for Daytona, the most recent race or 24-hour race, they had a yellow flag caution, so they were going very slow. They had a safety car that was due to the fog and mist over the track. Warm water, cold air. Warm air, cold water.
Wait, so is this part of F1 or NASCAR? I don't know anything about any of this.
Okay, so there's two different leagues. So F1, that's like Lewis Hamilton, that was Michael Schumacher. That's the one where they go all over the world.
And they race on regular streets, right?
For F1, there's street circuits, and then there's also a racetrack circuit.
Oh, there's both.
And then NASCAR, that's the one where they're driving normal-looking cars. They usually do
left
the
turn.
Oval. And then there's IndyCar. They're driving cars that look like the F1 cars, but they're not that quite lightweight. IndyCar's pretty cool. That's where you get the Indy 500.
I've heard of that.
So what's it called? The movie with the
Talladega Nights?
Yeah. So that's like NASCAR.
Okay. I knew that much, right?
Talladega Nights is like
does NASCAR have, how do I say this?
The endurance race?
No, the politest, I suppose. Is NASCAR considered the lowest brow? Low brow.
I think some people view it as that. Probably like Europeans view it as that. But I find it interesting. I think it's very fascinating. I find it very uniquely American. Yes. I love things that are very uniquely American, like cowboy, western. You don't really find that in Europe. Or if you do, it's because of American influence.
No, I totally get what you're saying, because this group of books that I read over there somewhere, I'm not really a romance reader, but it was a group of romance novels, highly recommended on TikTok. I read maybe 2 of them. They're set in Canada, and it's cowboy romance.
Oh.
And
there was also cowboys in Wyoming, I want to say. Buffalo Bill and
right,
Oakley.
And so you're right above that. I get it. I think of cowboy and I think of America.
Oh, so when we see someone wearing jeans and then a jean jacket, I call that a Texas tuxedo.
But people call it a Canadian tuxedo. Yeah,
I've never heard that.
I've never actually looked into where that came
from Chicago.
And I do that often because I'm easy.
Anyway, so there's IMSA, which is International Motorsports Association, and then there's WEC or WEC, and that stands for World Endurance Champion.
Oh, and so then these 24-hour races, are they a part of that?
I can't remember if Daytona's IMSA or WEC. Maybe it's something else. No, Daytona is IMSA, and then Le Mans is... I can't remember what it is.
So is Le Mans on regular streets or on a racetrack?
Oh, I believe it's a mix of both. It's on... You can drive part of the Le Mans track if you go to France.
Cool.
I was talking to one of my old coworkers who's French. I asked him, "Oh, have you been to Le Mans?" He was like, "Oh yes, it's very nice." I just DM'd him. I'm making a fact.
Wait, I feel like I learned a lot. I had no idea there were 24-hour races.
Mm-hmm. Not all of them are 24 hours. Just like the 3 big 24 hours ones are Daytona, Le Mans, and Nürburgring. It's in Germany.
I could guess from the name, I guess. I feel like it would be really cool. I know Porsche used to do Bavaria. You could go in Bavaria and drive Porsches.
I haven't heard of that, but I'm sure they do that.
I feel like that'd be super cool. I don't know.
I'd love to drive on the Autobahn.
Yeah, right? Go 200 miles an hour or something crazy. Anyway, I guess we can get into it. I feel like I've already learned so much. I know nothing about cars.
Yeah. I love cars.
So, Alex is my car girl over here. I'm going to learn more. We're going to go to a race one day together.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about any of the races close by, but... Yeah. All right, what should we get into? Some pop culture or some politics?
Let's do some politics and then some pop culture.
All right, we could start with the SAVE Act, I guess, because that was the big thing that I was seeing all over the news this week, which is the act that would require voter ID for only federal elections, but that's a start.
I think that's a great act. You need an ID to get on an airplane, domestic or international. Why wouldn't you need an ID to vote?
Makes no sense. I mean, even if I go to the hospital, I need my ID. Which even sometimes
some sort of photo ID.
Exactly. It's really not that challenging to get one. I don't understand the left's argument that somehow low-income people can't get IDs or that this somehow impacts such a large percentage of the voter base. They just have no expectation for people. I get maybe slightly handicapped, but I still think there's plenty of them that are able to get IDs of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
So it really doesn't make any sense to me outside of the thought that I think that they just know that there's fraud and they want to encourage it. But the interesting part about this SAVE Act is that CNN even reported on this, saying that over 80% of Americans are for having voter ID and in favor of the SAVE Act, which Somalia has voter ID.
Somalia has vote?
Yeah. Shockingly, I didn't know that either. But it is interesting because most other countries do have some form of requirement for voter ID, and we're not in the majority. It's crazy. But the problem is that this act passed in the House, but it's gone to the Senate and they don't even have a scheduled vote for it. And this is something that I've never fully understood, but I did mild research before for this. So the minority party, which would be the Democrats right now, they're able to do a filibuster. And what that means is that they can expand a debate indefinitely and prevent a vote unless there are 60 votes for the act. So obviously the Republicans only have 50 people in the Senate and Vice President is a tie-breaking vote, but it can basically prevent an act or a bill from becoming law or from passing the Senate, and then this would definitely get signed by Trump, 100%, from even getting voted on, that's insane. And then I guess the Senate Majority Leader, there's one potential way around it, which is a talking filibuster, which would a talking or a standing filibuster, which would require the Democrats to talk and stand on the floor indefinitely, debating this subject. And hope would be that you would just exhaust them and they would be like, fine, you guys have to vote on this. And then the Republicans would win because there's enough Republican votes. But I don't understand it. How can CNN say that 80%, not that I really believe polls all the time, that over 80% of America is for this, yet all of your Democratic senators are against this? So make that make sense. It does not seem like a representative democracy.
I know, that sounds really crazy.
Right? So everybody's up in arms about this, and kind of rightfully so. I personally think you should require voter ID, and it's insane that we don't have it at this point. So that's my little political spiel for this week. I don't feel like this week was overly political.
I just feel like it's just been a continuation of the ICE stuff. And guys, if someone comes here illegally, or comes here and stays here illegally past their stay, they gotta leave.
Yeah, that's what would happen in most other countries if we went there and overstayed our welcome.
Yeah. You go to jail. You get sent back, and you cannot come back.
So I don't think that one's that hard, but it's insane that we're still having these major ICE debates. Yeah. And that's what's going on in the news. But maybe it's all a psyop and they just want us to talk about this indefinitely.
Or it's energy harvest.
Something, exactly. Which I guess leads to the idea that Bad Bunny is a Super Bowl halftime show. And I feel like the two things kind of coincide.
I just want to say one more. Back to the media thing. It's all just like ICE. I don't understand why not a single news outlet is reporting on the potential California mileage tax.
Yes.
That would affect every single resident in California. That would affect people driving outside another state into ours. How would that be tracked? Is it tracked through cameras? Is it tracked through your vehicle mileage? If it's tracked through the mileage on your vehicle, people are going to start lying. There's going to be a lot of fraudulent auto sales.
I don't understand how the state legislature wastes their time and our money even debating these topics.
Yeah. And then there was this bill named Jay Leno's Law that would exempt classic cars such as my own from being smogged every other year. And it's such a hassle to get these classic collector's cars smogged. It's exhausting. And then it's just like these cars are not driven that much. They're just weekend cars. And it's not even every other weekend. You're just driving 2 cars and coffee in the morning at 7 a.m. and then you're back by 10 a.m. These are not...
Yeah, this is not contributing to whatever you think it's contributing to because it's driven so minimally.
And it was getting so close to almost being passed. And then they're like, I'll send it to environmental research so that they can do a study. So it's just never going to get passed. But now this driver mileage tax is being passed just within a week.
Yes, they just care about money and how to increase tax dollars. Yeah. It makes no sense whatsoever, and they shouldn't be allowed to waste their time doing this. Yeah. It's insane to me.
How about instead of increasing revenues, we decrease expenses?
Yes, right? Like most other businesses try to do when they have liquidity issues. Yeah.
We spent $1 billion trying to fight homelessness, and the homelessness has already gotten worse. I think they've won. I don't think we need to put any more money towards homelessness.
No, we do not. And it's all fraud, I think, or most of it. That's what it's coming out.
It's 110% fraud.
People are getting rich. Yeah, it really can't. You know what I was thinking about today? I was thinking about you go to other countries, and sometimes they're not even like third world or developing countries, and they'll have stray dogs and cats in the major city.
Mm-hmm. But like, in the major city?
I was in Santiago, Chile, and that's like a pretty industrialized city, and like there would be some stray cats, stray dogs, and same with like Rome. You'd still see the stray cats. Mm-hmm. And so I was just thinking about that, but the thing you don't see, homeless people. And I can do something very easily about finding a stray dog, right? Yeah. I would rather have that than homeless people. I can transition maybe to Bad
Bunny. So Bad Bunny's playing, or he's playing the halftime show at the Super Bowl.
I could not name one song.
I don't think I could either. Bad Bunny's Puerto Rican, which is U.S. territory. If you, as an American, you can fly to Puerto Rico without a passport. You do need to show ID to get on the plane. But you don't need a passport, and Puerto Ricans cannot vote for president, U.S. president.
They don't get any electoral votes?
No. They're a territory. They're not a state.
Yeah, so they don't have any... But there's no way for them to cast a vote? I don't know.
I just know that they can't vote, and you don't need a passport to...
And then they have their own... I thought that they had a non-voting member of Congress. Yeah, I might be making this up. Alexa, does Puerto Rico have a non-voting congressperson?
Yes.
Hey, Alexa, can Puerto Ricans vote in the U.S. presidential election?
Oh, they really can't.
Oh. So if you're Puerto Rican, you can participate in the Republican and Democratic primaries.
But how does that work?
But you cannot vote for U.S. president.
But what? Like, for what state?
Puerto Rico. Wait, aren't the primaries just
for
like...
state, though, right?
No, I thought it just means picking... Aren't the primaries just like picking who is the Republican candidate and the Democratic?
Yeah, it's still by state, isn't it?
I guess they have a say, too.
Oh, I see. So Puerto Rico has a say in that capacity, not the overall election?
I think that's fine.
Make that make sense, though.
I don't know. It really doesn't affect me at all.
No, also a non-voting member, they really are taxed without representation, I suppose. I guess
so anyway,
that's
Bad
on the...
Bunny, he's playing the halftime show. It's the most watched 5-minute performance. It is pretty incredible that they set up a whole stage in 2 minutes. He performs for 5 minutes, and then they take down the whole stage in another 2 or 3 minutes. It's kind of an amazing feat.
That is an amazing feat. Yeah. Is anyone performing with him? I don't even know. I guess the problem for me is I don't know a single song. I feel like he took over the Grammys. All of a sudden, he's this big artist. I don't know. I don't see the appeal.
I don't really care, but also I don't know why he's making all these political statements at the Grammys. You're just a performer. You're not...
Yes.
Your job is to sing and dance on stage, and there's nothing wrong with that, but your job isn't to give political advice. And that's fine. Not everyone's job has to be political advice.
Now I have so many questions about Puerto Rico. I feel like I learned so much there. I guess it's like DC because on the DC license plate, it says taxation without representation.
I think that's right, yeah.
Like this... So it's the same thing for Puerto Rico, but then they also do get taxed. But if you move from the mainland to Puerto Rico, you can evade federal taxes.
That doesn't sound right.
I think so. That's why everybody...
Like as your permanent residence?
Yeah. So if you move to Puerto Rico, I thought for a period of time, that's why a bunch of oil companies were moving to Puerto Rico, and a bunch of the crypto and marijuana people moved to Puerto Rico. Because they weren't having to pay... I don't think they were having to pay state or federal taxes. Which is insane.
That doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right. Everything I know about the federal government is right? That doesn't sound right.
Should we ask Alexa, if I move to Puerto Rico tomorrow, do I have to pay taxes?
Oh, so right now you're a resident of California, but if you move to Puerto Rico and you become a resident... But if you still earn income from California, you're paying California taxes on that.
If I move somewhere, I'm not paying the state of California a freaking dollar. No, thank you.
The only way to not pay federal taxes is if you revoke your U.S. citizenship. And live in not America.
I could have sworn that there was some major tax incentive for moving to Puerto Rico.
No, I think there is. I'm not sure if that's still around, because I know that hurricane hit them a while ago.
Maria, and I think there were 2 that hit them real bad.
I know there was one. I'm not sure if that's still...
And that caused everyone to say, hey, move here so that, and you won't have to pay taxes because they need to rebuild. That's not exactly like a winning endorsement for living.
If you want to know what the federal government wants you to do, just take a look at the tax code. They'll give you benefits for what they want you to do, and they'll punish you for what they don't want you to do. The U.S. government wants you to be married and live in a home. They don't want you to be single. Yeah.
That is true. And they want you to have kids. But
they want you to have kids.
But the idea of reading the tax code sounds pretty miserable to me. That's more my opinion.
I think a lot of people share that.
I would rather read about anything else outside. I also think it's too complicated, right? And it always feels like you're missing out on some deduction or some loophole that other people are taking advantage of that you don't know about.
Yeah, like in the car world community, there was a big loophole to register your car in Montana because you avoided sales tax and also you didn't have to smog your car. That would be the only reason I would register my car in Montana, to avoid smog. But since literally everybody knows about that, California and a bunch of other states, they're cracking down on it.
What is a smog test?
They just test how dirty the air is coming out of your car, of the exhaust. If it's too dirty, you fail, and then you pay fines and blah, blah, blah. But then if you pass, you just have to do it again in 2 years. Oh, and that starts when your car is 5 years old. So if you have a car that's from 2020 or older, you have to smog your car. Isn't that crazy? The car as new as 2020, you have to start smogging it even with all the advancements
Right.
in technology, your car, it's too dirty. It's time to test if it's clean or dirty. And now you have to pay $50. I don't know how much it is, but it's just like another thing. Oh my God, can we stop with the taxes and the fees?
I heard something crazy this week that I think is only partially true, but I'm going to
me.
say it anyway.
Tell me.
There's something, I think it's called the Invention Secrecy Act. I might have that slightly off.
Okay.
And if you invent something, say you're a wicked scientist and you come up with something crazy cool, maybe it's something super efficient and it makes cars emissions. I don't know these words, but get what I'm saying.
You invent something.
Right, that cuts down on emissions, let's say that.
Okay.
Or
just super efficient engine.
The conspiracy theory is that this guy made this car that ran on a morsel of gasoline, right?
Okay.
Or something crazy, right? And it went 200 miles on something very small. And then the invention was taken from him by the government, allegedly.
Okay.
Under the Invention Secrecy Act, because it was too efficient, and therefore it was a threat to national security because they didn't want it to end up in the wrong hands. And so then he would have to sue the government to get the proceeds from it or something. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? But it was kind of I don't know if you've ever watched the Y-Files. YouTube.
No.
He has a really interesting podcast and he does do a considerable amount of research and the act is real.
Okay.
And it does say there's times that things revert to the government when it's an issue of national security. And I could see how this could kind of be, that line could be really blurred, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, when you were going over the smog stuff, I was like, oh, that reminds me of people getting their inventions taken from them. It's when you apply for the patent that then when it's going through the patent process, at some point somebody in the government is like, no.
I wonder if that's true, which I have no idea of knowing because this is the first of me hearing about this. I wonder what else,
right?
Other than the super efficient car.
But the act exists, and it does I had a very mild light reading on it. There was some validity to what the Wi-Fi guy was saying. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, what is behind closed doors here that we don't know about that's been invented? I often wonder, too, about all the scientific things or energy. If we're way more ahead on energy and it's just all used by the government and we don't have access to it yet.
Oh my God, we can discuss this after, but I've seen a YouTube video talking about this. About
energy.
We'll sidebar that.
We'll sidebar it.
I'm just an accountant. I barely remember calculus, okay?
I don't remember any calculus.
That's good.
I remember being miserable.
I barely got a 4 on the AP. I mean, actually, I don't know barely, but I did get a 4 on the AP. Very proud of that.
Yeah, because they don't really they just give you the number.
Yeah. 4 out of 5. I would pass. I could place out of business calculus in college, so.
That's all that matters. Yeah, it was a miserable point in my life was calculus.
Oh, speaking of inventions, that kind of reminds me. I heard this story probably in middle school that some inventor went up to, I want to say Julius Caesar back in the day with this invention, and he invented a rubberized glass. It was glass that wouldn't shatter or break. It was very wiggly and movie. And then I guess Julius Caesar thought this is dumb and just dismissed him. So now we don't know. I thought that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I do wonder about old inventions from hundreds and thousands of years ago.
What really fascinates me is all the lost knowledge that we're just losing with each generation.
No, it's true.
My grandpa died a couple of years ago, and I just wonder, what does he know that he didn't pass down to me or his family?
Right.
That just died with him. And then also, what did his grandparents know that's forever lost? I don't think we can ever get that back. I think about that more often than I should. It gives me stress.
It's interesting, and I wonder if there's going to be technology to bring people's thoughts back in the future. Well, there's headphones that could read your brainwaves now.
I don't need that. I want less technology in my life.
I know, but then I'm thinking if they can read your brainwaves, then it can catalog everything. And maybe you don't want to catalog my thoughts.
I feel like that's getting too much into Big Brother.
No, it absolutely is, and that's used for bad is really bad. I've listened to some crazy podcast, but
it's very annoying with each new invention with technology we get. It solves a problem, but
then
also
it creates
like so much more. Their Apple AirTags, they solve the problem of you don't lose your keys, or you can find your keys if you lost them at the club. But now people are putting them in people's cars, and now you're being stalked and followed. So that's another problem.
And they started notifying you when there was an AirTag near you. I've never actually used an AirTag before.
I haven't either, but I think a neighbor of mine uses one because
it pops up.
It only happened twice, and it kind of freaked me out.
It's like a good security feature for it to pop up to be like, you might have an AirTag near you.
I think it takes a while. I think it takes a couple hours.
So we're already kidnapped by that point? Well, I mean, that's been the story of this week has been the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping.
Yes. Please tell me about this. I've been very busy at work and don't know much.
Well, I don't know if anybody knows that much because...
Who is Nancy Guthrie?
She's Savannah Guthrie, who is on the Today Show and has been on many other networks' mother. So quite famous. And her husband runs something called Glover Park, which is...
The Today Show lady's husband?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Savannah's husband's name is Michael Feldman, and he runs a company called Glover Park, which is crisis communications, mostly for high-end people that are in crisis, like Bill Clinton, for instance, has been a client. I think he might have worked in the Clinton administration as well, and maybe with Obama too, so very well connected. So there are people that think that the mother's kidnapping might somehow be associated with like high-profile nature of Savannah and her husband. There are two other siblings. There's sister Annie, and then a brother, don't know his name. They also, the three, so Nancy lives in Tucson. I think Annie also lives in Tucson. I think the brother also lives in Arizona as well. And so I think it was Saturday night. Annie and her husband had dinner with Nancy, I believe. Nancy had Ubered to their house or to the restaurant or something. But I think either Annie or her husband, I think her husband might have dropped Nancy back at home that night.
Okay.
And then that's going to come up in a moment. And then I guess Sunday morning, Nancy does not show up for church. And so immediate red flag for all of her friends. So obviously she's an 84-year-old woman. People are probably assuming she's like passed out at the house or something.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So if somebody goes over there, I don't know, they called the cops immediately. I don't know that. But there was blood in the house. There was some blood spatter coming out of the house. There's pictures of that. Obviously, cops are alerted. And then I want to say it might not have been until the next day. They were already treating it as an abduction at that point. And I don't know if there's a difference between abduction and kidnapping. I always in law school learned kidnapping. I don't know if abduction even has a legal meaning behind it. To me, they're virtually the same. But sorry, I'm going off. Anyway, there's been a ransom note that was sent to a couple of news stations got the ransom note. Then it was like, are these real? Are these fake? One was fake for sure. They've already arrested the guy. The other ones they're treating as real. The families come out. They've said that they will pay. We just want our mother back. Obviously. Stuff to that effect. There are people that are saying that Annie's husband is a person of interest. That has not been confirmed. It's all allegedly. But there are people saying they have credible sources claiming that, but nobody's come out and said that. So I don't know. So we're in for a wild, wild ride. So I'll keep an eye on that this week. Hopefully we have an answer this week. Hopefully she's found and she's safe and but we're on 8 days. So that's not good.
It's really been that long.
Last weekend.
Oh my God.
That's not good.
No, and they just keep reporting on ICE.
All I care about is this Nancy Guthrie, this poor old... Who kidnaps an old lady?
That's
really
sad.
Ugly. I know we have to cut this here, but...
We hope Nancy
is
found
found
safe and sound.
Hopefully next week we'll have better news.
Go ICE.
Yes. All right. Have a great week, guys.
Yeah. See you next time.